Hey everybody, welcome to our fall season of life groups as we are journeying through the scripture this year in 2015. We finally hit the New Testament and begin to study the life of Jesus. You know, in 2006, Jamie and I had the privilege of going to Israel. And one of the things that we were commissioned with, Justin and Jordan had just attended a J12 conference that Greg Johnson's ministry is to inspire tweens, those between the ages of 10 and 13, that they would be about the Father's business. And Justin said, Dad, you have to go to the place where Jesus said, I've got to be about my Father's business. And Jamie and I stood there on the southern steps of the walkway up to the Temple Mount there in Jerusalem and stood on the very stones that it's actually possible that Jesus could have been at. One of the other sites that we visited was the River Jordan and the traditional site where it said that Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. We tie these two events together because in this last week's message, we begin to study about Jesus' relationship with the Father and the way that it began to model something, for us. As early as a young man, Jesus had a focus about his life. That I know what my life's purpose is. It is to be about the Father's business. And he lived within certain constraints in order to make that happen. As we studied in the scripture this week, Jesus said he only did the things that he saw the Father doing. He said that he only spoke the things that he heard the Father saying. And he lived within those boundaries as a way to be able to help fulfill his purpose. In fact, in the Garden of Gethsemane, just a few hours before he would lay down his life as a ransom for all of us, Jesus wrestled in himself. The Lord, if there is any other way, he prayed to the Father, if there's any other way that this can take place, would you please go in that direction? Father, not my will, but your will be done. It's interesting that when Jesus taught the disciples how to pray, that the third line in the prayer is that your kingdom come and your will be done, which is much of a declaration about what we desire in our own lives and the way that we desire for God to work through us. In order to do that, we have to be people who say what he says and who does what he does. We have to hearken back to, it says, I've got to be about my Father's business. Now the interesting thing is that we don't try to do the things that Jesus did or live the way that Jesus did so that the Father would be proud of us. Before any of that began, on the banks of the River Jordan, as he is being baptized by John the Baptist, there's a voice that came from heaven that said, "This is my Son, in whom I am well pleased." That same voice that has invited you to be a part of the family of God should echo in your heart that God is pleased and proud of you. And we don't somehow try to manufacture a life in an attempt to earn God's pleasure, in an attempt to earn God's favor. Instead, because he is pleased with us, because he is proud of us, because he has invited us to partner with him, it's the capacity to be about our Father's business. Let's follow Jesus' example. Let's listen for what it is that the Father has to say. And let's speak those words of grace and truth into every situation. Let's do the things that Jesus did. Jesus' promise was that there will be a day when we would be able to do things even far beyond what he was able to do. Church, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to experience that in the midst of life? Remember, God is pleased with you. So let us be about our Father's business. Hope you enjoyed tonight's discussion.